Yo, what's going on YouTube? GZTV back with another video, and we are here to talk about the NBA trade deadline. We're at a time in the year where the NBA is very eventful. A lot of things are going down, and we're going to go over every important trade that took place during the trade deadline. So, yeah, let's just get straight into it. I mean, this was one of the best trade deadlines we've had in the last couple of years, so let's go. So first things first, we're just going to get into the biggest trade of the trade deadline, and then we can start talking about some minor trades. We're going to talk about the four-team deal between the Suns, the Nets, the Bucks, and the Pacers involving Kevin Durant. Now, let me give you the rundown of each trade, and I'll tell you who the winners and the losers are. So the Suns got Kevin Durant, obviously when healthy, probably a top 5 player in the league, and they got T.J. Warren, who had a little stint in the bubble, and who knows, maybe he'll have another one of those. The Nets, it seems like the Nets have been, we'll talk about the Nets because they've been doing a lot of trades and it's a very interesting direction they're going in, but they got Mikal Bridges, great defender, Cameron Johnson, decent role player, and a bunch of draft picks. They have a lot of draft capital, and we know that draft capital is very important, and this trade deadline proved that because this trade deadline probably involved some of the most draft capital we've ever seen out of a trade deadline. The Bucks got Jay Crowder, who's going to be a very good replacement for losing P.J. Tucker. The Pacers got George Hill back, Serge Ibaka, Jordan Nwora, who's a pretty good shooter. Serge Ibaka is kind of late in his career, so I mean, a lot of some draft capital and some cash considerations. Who won out of here? In order, I would say the Suns were the biggest winners. Then the Bucks with Jay Crowder. I think Jay Crowder's a great pickup. Then the Nets, and then I think the Pacers lost this trade the most. People are saying the Nets lost this trade, but honestly, I think Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are going to play great with guys with like Cam Thomas and Edmund Sumner and Nick Claxton and Ben Simmons. Like, I think this is still going to be a solid team moving forward. So, yeah, let's just move on from there. A lot of NBA YouTubers on the platform aren't really talking about this trade, but I think this is a somewhat major trade here, and it is involving the Mason Plumlee trade. So it's a pretty simple transaction. Mason Plumlee went to the Clippers, and the Hornets got a second-round pick in Reggie Jackson. Clippers won this trade. Let's be honest. I mean, Ivica Zubac needed a backup big man to complement him, and they got just that. And I think the Clippers are building a lot of depth. They picked up a lot of guys in the trade deadline. We will talk about this eventually. Yeah, Reggie Jackson is good, and yeah, the draft capital is going to help the Hornets in the future, but I don't know. I feel like they're just going to keep plummeting down and down. I think Reggie Jackson is going to be a pretty good backup for guys like T-Row and LaMelo, but it's not a bad trade for the Hornets. I just think the Clippers are left in a better spot here. We're pretty much going to talk about every trade, so let's just get into some minor trades. We'll talk about the trade involving Jalen McDaniels. So there was a 4-team transaction. The 76ers got Jalen McDaniels and a couple of draft picks, draft capital again. These aren't draft picks that are going to be used in the near future. Jalen McDaniels, he's all right. He's a very streaky player. Hornets took another. I mean, Reggie Jackson's a decent pick, but picking up McCulloch and some draft capital, that was a terrible trade for them. Trailblazers got Cam Reddish, Matisse Thybulle, Arcidiacono, and a first-round pick. Trailblazers didn't do bad, but I don't know. Knicks getting Josh Hart might be the biggest W here. I think this was a pretty good trade for the Knicks, especially with the chemistry that Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson have dating back to college. So let's just move on from that. We'll just uncut this. Let's talk about the trade with Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon and some second-round picks went to the Clippers. The Rockets got John Wall, Danny Green, and a pick swap. I don't know about that. I mean, John Wall going back to the place he said he had a trash experience at. I don't know, Houston. I mean, Danny Green's okay. He's a little late in his career. The Grizzlies got Luke Kennard, which, okay. I mean, he's had a couple of good games in his career. Clippers are the winners. Maybe not by much, but Eric Gordon, a veteran shooter off the bench, is going to be decent for them. The Mike Muscala trade. The Celtics got Mike Muscala from the Thunder. My friend's actually a Thunder fan, so it's kind of a cool little moment here. Celtics got Mike Muscala for Justin Jackson and some second-round picks. That's great. I think the Celtics did great with this because I've been watching some Thunder games throughout the season, and I mean, yeah, this is a really good trade. Josh Richardson. Let's talk about the Josh Richardson trade. Josh Richardson's going to the Pelicans for Devontae Graham and 4 second-rounders. I mean, second-rounders were flying. Josh Richardson's a solid player. He's had some pretty good games. Pelicans will definitely have some depth off of him, and they definitely didn't use Devontae Graham. And if they have plenty of draft capital, then this wasn't a bad pick at all. We had a 4-team trade for James Wiseman and Gary Payton. Those were like the big names involved. Pistons got James Wiseman. That's a terrible. Like, he's not going to be bad for them, but that's not a great pickup. I honest to God, that's not a good pickup for the Pistons in my opinion. The Warriors getting GP2 and some second round picks. That's decent. Hawks getting Saddiq Bey. People don't realize how good Saddiq Bey can possibly be, so I think the Hawks got a pretty good deal out of him. Trailblazers, they lost. I mean, they got draft capital, but they got Kevin Knox out of this. I would say the only two winners out of this were the Warriors and the Hawks. Interesting trade here with the Suns and the Thunder, sending Darius Bazley to the Suns for Dario Saric, cash, and a second-round pick. I would say the Thunder won this trade. I don't think Darius Bazley is a great player, and Dario Saric, with the absence of some of his stars, he's actually been playing pretty well. This Bruno Fernando, Garrison Matthews thing. Bruno Fernando, Garrison Matthews for Justin Holiday, Frank Kaminsky, and a couple of picks. I'm neutral on that one. I don't really care about that one. But yeah, let's move on into the next big trade. The next major trade I want to talk about is the Thomas Bryant trade with Mo Bamba. So the Nuggets are getting Thomas Bryant, which Thomas Bryant has had a really good run this season without Anthony Davis. And, for a while I think Nikola Jokic has kind of needed some backup. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of neutral on that. The Lakers get Mo Bamba, Davon Reed, and a pick. That Mo Bamba alone is a great W for the Lakers. Lakers won this part of the trade. Bones Highland goes to the Clippers. That's a W for the Clippers. That's awesome. Yeah, Clippers did well. The Magic get Patrick, Bev, some cash, and a second-round pick. Terrible trade for the Magic. It's awful. I mean, I guess the draft capital, but then again, awful trade for the Magic. That was really bad. But I mean, the overall winners, the Nuggets did all right, but the Lakers and the Clippers, the two LA teams, I think they did the best out of this trade. Thomas Bryant will be a great backup center. Maybe I'm underrating this a little bit. He'll be a great backup center for Jokic. Mo Bamba, though, they need a reliable backup big man, and I would say Mo Bamba's probably better than Thomas Bryant, despite like the stretch he's had. But yeah, let's move on. Man, the amount of blockbuster trades we have in this trade deadline. We have the Russell Westbrook trade. We have a 3-team deal going down here. The Lakers got D'Lo, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt plus Mo Bamba. And they gave up Westbrook, Toscano Anderson, and Thomas Bryant so far for that. That's fantastic. Like, if you really look at it from a broad view, that's awesome. D'Lo, he's been having a decent stretch recently. He's been a lot more motivated to play basketball. Malik Beasley's been an insanely good three-point shooter off the bench for the Jazz. Jared Vanderbilt, very, very much a hustle guy. He's got a big heart for the game. He hustles. He grabs rebounds. He does a lot. He's going to be a great role player for the Lakers. But moving on to the Timberwolves, Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and like 3 picks. Timberwolves, what are we doing? You accepted Mike Conley and Alexander Walker for D'Lo and Jared Vanderbilt. How is that even possible? And obviously you get picks, but still, that is a terrible trade. Those are 2 of like your top 5 to top 7 players on the team, and you're picking up. I mean, Mike Conley can facilitate. He's a veteran. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I haven't heard from him all year. I guess the draft capital is just the only positives. The Jazz get Russell Westbrook, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and a pick, a first-rounder, so that's going to hold more value than a lot of these second-rounders that are thrown around. Jazz won. Jazz were winners of this trade. I think Russell Westbrook's going to enter a system that he can play around, a lot of selfless players, which is a lot of motivation for a lot of the point guards involved in this trade. Like, they want to be around selfless players that aren't dominant ball handlers. The Jazz don't have a dominant ball handler. Like, they move the ball fairly well. They get catch and shoot shots up. Lowry, Markkanen, Jordan, Clarkson are very grounded basketball players. It sucks that they couldn't keep like Malik Beasley, I'm going to be honest, but they're going to still have guys like Colin Sexton and Walker Kessler. Like, this is going to be a decent team, I think. And Juan Toscano-Anderson, he can have some moments. I mean, he's not a great basketball player. But yeah, I would say that the Jazz and the Lakers won this trade. That was a pretty fair trade there between those two, but the Timberwolves, terrible. Couple of more minor trades. I mean, Jakob Poeltl was not that minor of a trade. Wow. I didn't see this, actually. The Raptors get Jakob Poeltl for Khem Birch, a first-round and 2 second-round picks. Clap it up, Raptors. This is a great pickup. I don't care how much draft capital you had to give up. Khem Birch is, like, irrelevant to your franchise. And Jakob Poeltl has been having a solid season for a bad NBA team. So clap it up. The Raptors did great on this trade. You get the Kings get Kessler, Edwards, and Cash for draft rights. I don't know. I don't really care about that trade. The Heat trade Dedmon to the Spurs, and they get Cash, a draft pick, and Dedmon for Cash, I guess. But yeah, lads, we got another blockbuster trade here with the Kyrie Irving trade. Mavs got Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, 2 second-round picks, and a first-round pick. And people are going to say Nets lost, but dude, I don't know. There's still players that are even nearing their prime that went to the Nets. I think this is a win-win. I don't think anyone lost out of here because Spencer Dinwiddie is comfortable in Brooklyn. DFS, great defensive player. Should they have added Markieff Morris for this? Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, well, there's plenty of trade deadlines stuff that happened before this, so let's get into the final 2 trades here. Honestly, I haven't been able to talk in as much in depth as I wanted to, but we have the final 2 trades that happened like even before the Kyrie Irving one was the catalyst. This led to like the Russell Westbrook and the Kevin Durant stuff, but this happened. This was like the calm before the storm. We have like 2 trades here. Obviously, Rui Hachimura has been getting decently comfortable in the Lakers system here for some time, but he was technically a part of the trade deadline, so we have to talk about it. And I didn't talk about it when it happened. Rui Hachimura for Kendrick Nunn and 2 second-round picks. I'm kind of neutral on this. I don't really have a winner. I don't really have a loser. I mean, so far, Rui Hachimura has probably been playing better than Kendrick Nunn, but I guess it'll all depend how the Wizards use their draft capital. And man, draft capital and like 3 or 4 NBA stars, that's like the central aspects. That's like the central aspects of the trade deadline. Let's talk about Noah Vonleh. This happened January 5th, so he's been playing with us for a while, and we traded him we traded him in cash for a second-round pick. Whatever. It didn't really mean much to the Celtics organization, but yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. Let's get to the outro. Here we go. Quick little outro. I mean, all in all, I think the trade deadline was pretty cool, and I'm so interested for the coming weeks of this league because we're going to see everyone kind of adjust to where they went. Yeah, it's going to be fun. There's like 11 NBA games on tonight, so at the time I'm recording this, I should be getting this out momentarily, but there should be even more interesting acquisitions that are going to be coming into play here before the All-Star weekend. From now into All-Star weekend, All-Star break, whatever, we're going to get a really good feel of how everyone's fitting. Who do I think is going to be the most successful out of these? Well, we still haven't seen Russell Westbrook play. We still haven't seen D'Lo play. KD's still hurt, I believe, so I don't know when we're going to see him play. Right now, Kyrie Irving's doing pretty well. He got a win and 25 points in his debut. And if you guys want to see me talk about the NBA every single night, we talk about every single game of the season. We've been doing that. Very consistent with that. I've literally done every single NBA game. I don't think I missed any. So if you want to see that, go check it out. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Click the noti bell because you never know when a video is going to pop up that you might like. I think tomorrow we are going to be talking about the Billboard's top 50 rappers list, maybe giving like an edited reaction. I have a lot of time. I have time to edit videos over the weekend and stuff. I might be live on Twitch here shortly for about an hour, grinding out some 2K challenges. So if you guys want to check that out, then yeah, GZTV live on Twitch, all lowercase. I am out, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.